Democracy is often defined as a system of government in which all members of the population vote to elect officials which will represent their interests and the interests of the nation in government. This rule by the people approach to government is much different today than it was when it was first introduced. Let us take a look at how the idea of democracy in America has changed over the course of history, starting with the passing of the English Bill of Rights in 1689, a time when things were much different.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time.
With the outcast of King James II, Parliament began to receive more power in saying decisions, stating that the monarchy could not rule without their consent. Parliament passed the English Bill of Rights shortly thereafter, which guaranteed certain key freedoms that all English citizens would be granted. The freedom to elect members of Parliament, freedom of speech in Parliament, freedom from royal interference with the law, freedom to petition the king, freedom to bear arms in self-defense, freedom from cruel and unusual punishment, and freedom from unfair taxation. These freedoms were the foundation of early American democratic values, and we still hold these true mostly to this day. The freedoms guaranteed by the English Bill of Rights were mostly carried over to the American Bill of Rights, which were the first 10 amendments of the Constitution. The only catch was that the freedoms that were supposedly guaranteed to all were only really applied to landowning white males at the time of its institution. As such, minorities, especially slaves, had little to no rights and were not represented in the democracy. Most blacks were slaves up until the conclusion of the Civil War, as the Emancipation Proclamation came into effect, which freed all African Americans from the bonds of slavery. Though most were still treated as slaves regardless, and they had very little in the ways of actual human rights. With the passing of the 13th Amendment, however, the future looked promising as blacks started to gain rights, and all seemed well, until the black codes came into effect. And court cases such as Plessy versus Ferguson and the Dred Scott decision only furthered the mistreatment of African Americans. The United States wanted to prevent the spread of communism throughout the world. In order to do this, they got locked in an internal struggle with the USSR in which democracy was on the line. A particularly important communist nation that the United States fought was Vietnam, and well, we don't talk about Vietnam. So the military got desegregated at some point, which is also really important because, hey, now there's blacks in the military and stuff.
The Tuskegee Airmen are on the march.
Throughout the history of the United States, the democratic values have changed a lot as time has progressed. And now, well, we don't talk about them now.